Beloved believers, overcoming trials and shining God's eternal light. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever wondered why your journey seems riddled with obstacles, betrayals, and relentless opposition? It is not because you are weak or forgotten. Quite the opposite, you are chosen, set apart by God for a divine purpose that your enemies cannot comprehend. The hardships you face are not punishments. They are the evidence of your calling. Your enemies may plot against you, fueled by envy and deceit, but here lies the truth. Their schemes are powerless against the light you carry. Like a seed buried beneath the soil, you are being prepared to rise, to break through the darkness, and to flourish in ways they could never anticipate. This is their awakening, a realization that their attacks only serve to strengthen you, refine you, and elevate you. This story will reveal how God uses your trials to shape you into an unstoppable force, turning every attack into a stepping stone toward victory. Stay with us, beloved believers, as we uncover the strategies to overcome, thrive, and shine in the face of adversity. If this resonates with your spirit, type 777 in the comments as a declaration of your readiness to embrace your destiny. Let's journey together into the transformative power of being one of God's chosen. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever felt the weight of the world pressing against you? As if every step you take is met with resistance, every dream shadowed by doubts, and every triumph challenged by unseen forces? These trials, though heavy, are not meant to break you but to forge you. Like gold refined in the fire, your challenges are God's tools to prepare you for the extraordinary destiny ahead. Imagine a lone candle in a pitch-black room. The darkness encircles it, threatening to consume it. But no matter how vast the shadows, the flame holds its ground. That flame, beloved believers, is you. The darkness that tries to overwhelm you is not your master. It is the backdrop against which your light shines brightest. The world often misunderstands the chosen. You may have been mocked for your faith, betrayed by those you trusted, or opposed for reasons you cannot explain. The question arises, why me? Why must the journey be so steep, the trials so relentless? Because you are not ordinary. You are set apart, and the enemy recognizes the power within you even before you do. Think of Joseph, thrown into a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and later unjustly imprisoned. The pit, the chains, and the prison bars were not the end of his story. They were the steps that led to his purpose. What pits have you faced, and how might they be shaping you for something greater? The refining fire is one of the most powerful metaphors for the journey of God's chosen. Picture a master goldsmith holding a piece of raw, unrefined gold. To the untrained eye, it seems ordinary, even worthless, but the goldsmith knows its true value. He places it into the fire, watching as the flames burn away the impurities. What emerges is pure, radiant, and unbreakable. Beloved believers, the trials you endure are your refining fire. The betrayals, the disappointments, the losses, these are not punishments. They are the flames that burn away fear, insecurity, and doubt, leaving behind the strength, resilience, and faith that define a warrior of God. Have you ever felt as though the heat was too intense, the pressure too great? Remember this, the goldsmith never takes his eyes off the gold. God is watching over you, ensuring that the fire does not consume you but prepares you for the greatness he has planned. Let us return to Joseph's story, a tale of betrayal that seemed destined to destroy him. His brothers, driven by jealousy, stripped him of his robe and cast him into a pit. To them, this was the end of Joseph's dreams. But God had other plans. The pit was not his prison, it was his launching pad. Have you ever been betrayed by those you trusted, their actions cutting deeper because of the love you once shared? Betrayal is one of life's harshest trials, but for the chosen, it is also one of the most transformative. Like Joseph, your betrayal may be the very thing God uses to position you for your destiny. Reflect for a moment. Who or what has pushed you into your pit? How has God used, or how might He use, those moments to propel you toward your purpose? One of the greatest lessons in the journey of the chosen is the power of stillness. The world tells us to fight back, to defend ourselves against every accusation, to retaliate against every wrong. But God calls us to a different kind of strength, a quiet, unshakable confidence that trusts Him to act on our behalf. Think of Jesus standing before His accusers, silent in the face of their lies. His silence was not weakness. It was the ultimate demonstration of strength. He knew that truth needed no defense and that God's justice would prevail. Beloved believers, how often have you felt the urge to fight back, to prove yourself, to correct every misunderstanding? What would it look like to lay down that burden, to stand still and let God fight for you? Take a moment to reflect on your own journey. What trials have you faced that felt like the end, but were actually a new beginning? How has God used the fire to refine you, the betrayals to reposition you, and the stillness to strengthen you? Beloved believers, your trials are not in vain. They are the tools God is using to prepare you for a purpose beyond your imagination. Each challenge you face is a step closer to the destiny He has set before you. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, declare this truth over your life. I am not broken by my trials. I am forged by them. The fire is not my end, it is my beginning. I am being prepared, refined, and strengthened for the purpose God has placed within me. As we continue this journey, hold on to this truth. The pit is temporary, but the palace is eternal. The fire may burn, but it cannot consume you. And the darkness may press against you, but it can never extinguish your light. Shine boldly, beloved believers, for the best is yet to come. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, as the fire refines you, it does not leave you weakened. It strengthens you, breaking the chains that have held you captive and preparing you to rise. Have you ever felt bound by circumstances, mistakes, or the opinions of others? The truth is, the chains around you are no match for the power within you. God has already equipped you with the strength to break free. Imagine a bird trapped in a cage, its wings unable to stretch, its song silenced. The cage is not its natural home, yet over time, it may forget the skies it was meant to soar. Beloved believers, how often do we find ourselves in similar cages, bound by fear, doubt, or the weight of past failures? These chains whisper lies, telling us we are not enough, that we cannot rise, that freedom is beyond our reach. But here is the truth. God did not create you to remain bound. Just as He sent Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, He is calling you to freedom. Your chains, whether forged by the words of others, your own insecurities, or the pain of your past, are temporary. They cannot withstand the light of God's truth. Have you ever asked yourself, what is holding me back? What chains need to be broken in my life? Breaking chains begins with faith, the unshakable belief that God is greater than any force trying to hold you captive. Think of Peter, imprisoned and guarded on all sides, with chains binding his wrists. In Acts 12, we read that as the church prayed fervently for him, an angel appeared, and the chains fell off. Peter walked out of the prison unharmed because God intervened. Beloved believers, your faith is the key that unlocks your chains. Have you been praying for freedom? Have you been trusting God to open the doors that seem sealed shut? Remember, He is a chain-breaking God. The prison you feel trapped in is no match for His power. One of the most powerful examples of breaking chains comes from the story of Paul and Silas in Acts 16. Imprisoned for preaching the gospel, their feet shackled and their bodies bruised, they did something extraordinary. They praised. At midnight, their voices rose in song, filling the prison with hymns of worship. And then, the impossible happened. A violent earthquake shook the foundations of the prison. The doors flew open, and every chain fell loose. Have you ever thought about the power of praise in your own life? When was the last time you praised God in the midst of your struggles? Praise is not just an act of worship. It is an act of defiance against the forces that seek to hold you down. It is a declaration that your God is bigger than your circumstances, that His light can penetrate even the darkest places. Beloved believers, what is your midnight song? How can you use praise to break the chains in your life? Breaking chains requires courage, the kind of courage that comes from knowing you are not alone. God is with you, guiding your steps, strengthening your resolve, and reminding you that the battle is already won. Like David facing Goliath, you may feel small in the face of your challenges, but your faith transforms you into a warrior. Consider the story of the Israelites standing before the Red Sea. Behind them, Pharaoh's army approached, and before them lay an impassable barrier. Fear could have paralyzed them, but God spoke through Moses, saying, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." Exodus 14 verse 13. The sea parted, and they walked through on dry ground. Beloved believers, what is the Red Sea in your life? What fear is trying to keep you from stepping forward? Trust that God is making a way, even when it seems impossible. Take a moment to reflect. What chains are holding you back? What circumstances feel like an unyielding prison? And how might God be calling you to step into freedom? Beloved believers, your chains are not your destiny. They are the obstacles that God is calling you to overcome. With faith, praise, and courage, you can break free and walk boldly into the life He has prepared for you. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, declare this truth over your life. I am not bound by my past, my fears, or my failures. My chains are falling, and I am stepping into the freedom and purpose God has for me. I will praise in the midst of my trials, for I know my breakthrough is coming. The journey of the chosen is not without its struggles, but every chain you break is a testimony of God's power. As you rise, you inspire others to rise with you, creating ripples of freedom and hope. Remember, the prison is temporary, but your destiny is eternal. Shine boldly, beloved believers, for the best is yet to come. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, once the chains are broken, you are no longer bound by fear or past failures. You are free to shine the light that God has placed within you, a light that not only guides your path, but also transforms the world around you. Have you ever wondered what happens when your light meets the darkness? It doesn't retreat, it conquers. Picture a small candle flickering in a pitch-black room. Though the flame is modest, it pierces the darkness, revealing what was once hidden. That candle is you. The darkness represents the struggles, doubts, and fears of this world, but it cannot extinguish the light God has placed within you. The Bible tells us in John 1 verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." Your light is not ordinary. It is divinely ordained, fueled by the love and power of God. Every step you take in faith, every word you speak in truth, and every act of kindness is a beam of light breaking through the shadows. Beloved believers, how brightly is your light shining today? What areas of darkness in your life or the lives of others are waiting to be illuminated? The life of Jesus, the ultimate light of the world, is the greatest example of how light transforms. Born into humble circumstances, He faced opposition, rejection, and betrayal, yet His light never wavered. His presence brought healing to the sick, hope to the hopeless, and salvation to the lost. Even on the cross, when the world thought His light had been extinguished, He rose again, brighter and more glorious than ever. His resurrection was the ultimate triumph, proving that darkness can never overcome the light of God. Beloved believers, you carry that same light. Like Jesus, your journey may involve moments of trial and sacrifice, but every step you take in faith is a victory over the darkness. What would it look like to walk boldly, knowing the same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you? Your light is not just for you, it is a gift to the world. Like a lighthouse guiding ships through a storm, your faith, hope, and love inspire others to find their way. Have you ever noticed how a single spark can ignite an entire flame? Your light has the power to ignite faith in others, to awaken hope where there was despair, and to bring clarity where there was confusion. Consider the story of Paul and Silas in Acts 16. Their midnight praise not only broke their own chains, but also freed every prisoner around them. The jailer, awestruck by their faith, asked, "What must I do to be saved?" Their light transformed a place of captivity into a place of salvation. Beloved believers, who in your life is waiting for your light to shine? How might your faith inspire someone else to step out of their own darkness and into God's truth? The world is not always kind to those who shine brightly. Like Jesus, you may face opposition, criticism, or even hostility for living boldly in your faith. The enemy seeks to dim your light, using doubt, fear, or rejection to make you question your purpose. But remember this: the brighter the light, the greater the opposition. The darkness fights hardest against those who pose the greatest threat. Think of David standing before Goliath, a young shepherd armed only with a sling and a stone. The giant mocked him, but David's faith in God was unshakable. With a single act of courage, he defeated what seemed insurmountable. Beloved believers, the darkness may appear daunting, but like David, your light is more powerful than any giant you face. Have you ever felt the weight of opposition pressing against you? What would it mean to stand firm, knowing that God's light within you is greater than any force against you? Take a moment to reflect. Where is God calling you to shine your light? Who in your life needs the warmth of your faith, the guidance of your hope, or the comfort of your love? Even when the darkness feels overwhelming, remember that your light is not your own. It is a reflection of God's glory, an unquenchable flame that cannot be extinguished. Beloved believers, your light is not just a beacon for others. It is a testament to the power of God at work within you. Every moment you shine, you declare victory over the darkness and bring His kingdom closer to earth. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, declare this truth over your life. I am a vessel of God's light. Darkness cannot overcome me, for my light is fueled by His love and power. I will shine boldly, transforming the world around me with faith, hope, and love. As you continue your journey, remember that your light is a gift, not just to you but to everyone you encounter. Let it shine unapologetically, for the world needs the hope, healing, and truth you carry. And know this: the brighter your light, the closer you are to fulfilling the purpose God has placed within you. Shine boldly, beloved believers, for the best is yet to come. Darkness may challenge you, but it can never overcome you. You are God's chosen, and your light is changing the world. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, your light is not confined to this moment. It is eternal. The light you shine today is not only transforming your life, but also leaving a legacy that will ripple through generations. Have you ever thought about the impact your faith, love, and perseverance could have on the lives of others, even those you may never meet? Your journey is not just about overcoming darkness. It is about illuminating a path for others, creating a legacy that inspires, heals, and transforms. Imagine a single flame passed from one person to another, spreading warmth and light across a dark landscape. Each flame ignites another, until the darkness is no more. Beloved believers, your life is that flame. Every act of kindness, every prayer, every step of faith ignites a fire in someone else, creating a chain reaction of hope and transformation. Think of Abraham, whose faith laid the foundation for generations of believers. He could not see the full extent of God's promise, but his obedience set into motion a legacy that would span centuries. Like Abraham, your faith is planting seeds that will grow long after you are gone. Who in your life is waiting to feel the warmth of your light? How might your actions today inspire someone else to shine brighter tomorrow? Your light does not stop with you. It creates ripples that touch lives far beyond your reach. Consider Ruth, whose loyalty to Naomi seemed like a simple act of devotion. Yet, her faithfulness positioned her as a key figure in the lineage of Jesus Christ. A single decision, made in love and faith, rippled through history, changing the course of humanity. Beloved believers, your choices have the same potential. Every time you choose faith over fear, love over hatred, or hope over despair, you are creating ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Who might be touched by your legacy of light? How might your faith inspire someone else to step into their own calling? Building a legacy of light is not without its challenges. The enemy will try to discourage you, whispering that your efforts are insignificant or that your light is too small to make a difference. But do not be deceived. Every act of love, every moment of faith, Every step of perseverance is part of God's greater plan. Think of the parable of the mustard seed. Though it is the smallest of seeds, it grows into a mighty tree, providing shelter and nourishment for others. Your light, no matter how small it may feel, has the power to grow into something extraordinary. Beloved believers, what seeds of light are you planting today? And how might they grow into a legacy that touches lives far beyond your imagination? The life of Jesus is the ultimate example of a legacy of light. His teachings, his sacrifice, and his resurrection have transformed billions of lives. Even now, over 2,000 years later, his light continues to shine, guiding people out of darkness and into the truth of God's love. As his chosen ones, you are called to carry that legacy forward. Your light, fueled by his Spirit, is part of an eternal story that began long before you and will continue long after you. Have you ever considered what it means to be part of such a legacy? To know that your life, no matter how ordinary it may seem, is part of God's extraordinary plan. Take a moment to reflect. What legacy are you building? How are your actions, your words, and your light shaping the lives of those around you? Who is watching your journey, drawing strength from your faith, courage from your perseverance, and hope from your love? Even when the path feels uncertain, remember this: God sees every act of faith, every moment of love, every ripple you create. He is weaving your life into his eternal tapestry, using your light to illuminate the world in ways you may never fully understand. Revelation 22 verse 5 gives us a glimpse of eternity, where there will be no more night. They will not need the light of a lamp or the light of the sun, for the Lord God will give them light. Your light, born of faith and fueled by God's presence, is a reflection of that eternal truth. It is not just a momentary flicker. It is a flame that will burn brightly for all eternity. Have you ever thought about what it will feel like to stand before God and see the full impact of your life? To see the faces of those who found hope, healing, and faith because you chose to shine? This is the legacy of light, the ripple effect that echoes into eternity. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, declare this truth over your life. My light is not just for today. It is a gift that will inspire generations. My faith, my love, and my actions are part of God's eternal story, and my legacy will reflect his glory. As you carry your light forward, remember that every step you take is creating ripples of hope and transformation. Trust that God is using your life to build a legacy that will endure, to touch lives far beyond your reach, and to glorify his name. Shine boldly, beloved believers, for your legacy is changing the world, one life at a time. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, your light does not end with you. It extends outward, touching hearts, transforming lives, and igniting hope in places you may never see. The ripple effect of your legacy is far-reaching, creating waves of change that stretch across generations and into eternity. Have you ever stopped to consider how far your light might travel? Imagine a still pond, its surface calm and undisturbed. Then, a single pebble drops into the water. The ripples spread outward, reaching every corner, even those unseen. Beloved believers, your life is like that pebble. Each act of kindness, every word of encouragement, and every step of faith sends ripples into the lives of others, creating waves of transformation. Consider the story of Ruth and Naomi. Ruth's loyalty to Naomi was a simple act of love, but it set into motion events that would shape the lineage of Jesus Christ. Ruth's ripple continues to inspire faith and devotion thousands of years later. What ripples are you creating in your life? Who might be touched by your faith, your perseverance, and your love? The beauty of the ripple effect is that it connects us all. Just as someone else's light once guided you, your light now guides others. Think of the people who have influenced your journey. A parent whose prayers strengthened you, a mentor whose wisdom encouraged you, or a stranger whose kindness reminded you of God's love. Now, reflect on those who are watching your life. Who is drawing strength from your faith, courage from your resilience, and hope from your love? Your light is part of a divine network, a tapestry of transformation woven together by God's hand. The ripple effect of your light is most powerful in the face of darkness. Like a single candle in a vast room, your light not only illuminates your surroundings, but also inspires others to light their own flames. Together, these individual lights can dispel even the deepest shadows. Think of Paul and Silas in prison. Their praise and unwavering faith not only broke their own chains, but also impacted everyone around them. The jailer, moved by their example, found salvation through their light. Beloved believers, what chains could your light help break in the lives of others? How might your faith inspire someone else to step into freedom? Your legacy is not confined to this world. It reaches into eternity. Revelation 21 verse 24 speaks of nations walking by the light of God's glory and kings bringing their splendor into his eternal city. Your light, though small it may seem, is a part of that eternal story. Imagine standing before God and seeing the full ripple effect of your life. Faces of people you've touched, some you knew, others you never met, will reflect the impact of your faith, love, and perseverance. Beloved believers, your light is not just changing lives today, it is shaping eternity. Take a moment to reflect. What ripples are you creating today? How are your actions, words, and choices influencing the lives of those around you? Even the smallest act of faith can ignite a chain reaction of hope, healing, and transformation. Even when you feel unseen, remember this: God sees every ripple. He sees how your light is reaching into the hearts of others, inspiring them to rise, to shine, and to walk in their own calling. Your light matters. Your legacy matters. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, declare this truth over your life. My light creates ripples that transform lives. My faith, my love, and my actions will leave a legacy that echoes into eternity. I will shine boldly, trusting that God is using my life to spread hope and healing across the world. As you move forward, remember that your legacy is not built in a single moment but through a lifetime of faithful steps. Trust that every ripple you create is part of God's greater plan to bring His light into the world. Shine brightly, beloved believers, for your ripple is changing the world. The best is yet to come. Let your light inspire others to rise, and together, may we create waves of transformation that echo into eternity. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, the stories of Joseph and Jesus are more than historical accounts. They are living testimonies of how faith, perseverance, and the light of God can transform lives, conquer darkness, and create a legacy that endures for eternity. These narratives serve as both inspiration and guidance for our own journeys. Joseph's life begins with a dream, a vision given by God that set him apart. But his journey to fulfillment was anything but smooth. His brothers, consumed by jealousy, stripped him of his robe, cast him into a pit, and sold him into slavery. Betrayed by those closest to him, Joseph found himself in a foreign land, falsely accused and thrown into prison. Can you imagine the depth of Joseph's despair? Sitting in a dark, damp cell, he must have wondered if his dreams had been a cruel illusion. Yet, even in the darkness, Joseph's faith never wavered. He trusted in the God who had given him his dream. Through his trials, God refined Joseph, molding him into a leader. His ability to interpret dreams brought him before Pharaoh, and his wisdom saved not only Egypt but also his own family. The very brothers who had betrayed him bowed before him, fulfilling the dream God had placed in his heart. Beloved believers, Joseph's story reminds us that the pits in our lives are not permanent. They are places of preparation. What pits have you faced? How might God be using them to prepare you for a greater purpose? The life of Jesus is the ultimate story of triumph through trials. Born in a humble manger, he lived a life of love, healing, and truth, yet faced constant opposition from those who feared his light. His journey led him to the cross, where he bore the weight of humanity's sins, facing betrayal, humiliation, and unimaginable pain. On the surface, the crucifixion seemed like the end of his story. The sky darkened, and his followers mourned. But in that moment of apparent defeat, the greatest victory was won. On the third day, the stone was rolled away, and Jesus rose, proving that light always conquers darkness. Revelation 5 verse 12 declares, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise." Jesus' resurrection is a reminder that no matter how overwhelming the darkness may seem, it cannot extinguish the light of God. Beloved believers, like Jesus, your journey may lead you through moments of trial and sacrifice, but every step of faith is a step toward victory. What crosses are you carrying, and how might they be leading you to a resurrection of your own? Let us turn to a modern story that echoes the journeys of Joseph and Jesus. Samuel was a young man with big dreams of becoming a teacher, but his life was marked by hardship. Growing up in poverty, he often went to bed hungry, and his community offered little support for his aspirations. Despite these challenges, Samuel remained determined, studying by candlelight and working odd jobs to pay for school. One day, Samuel's village was hit by a devastating flood. Many lost their homes, and children were left without access to education. Samuel, inspired by his faith and compassion, turned his own struggles into action. Using his limited resources, he started teaching children under a tree, giving them hope and a chance for a brighter future. Years later, Samuel's small act of faith grew into a fully funded school, transforming the lives of hundreds of children. His light, born out of hardship, became a beacon of hope for an entire community. Beloved believers, Samuel's story reminds us that even the smallest acts of faith can ignite ripples of transformation. What small step could you take today to shine your light in the lives of others? The stories of Joseph, Jesus, and Samuel reveal a powerful truth. The light we carry has the power to create ripples that extend far beyond our own lives. Joseph's wisdom saved nations. Jesus' sacrifice redeemed humanity. Samuel's perseverance inspired a generation. Beloved believers, your light is no different. Every choice you make to trust God, to persevere through trials, and to love others creates ripples that touch lives in ways you may never see. Who might be touched by your story? Who is waiting to see your light shine? As you reflect on these stories, consider this. What trials are you facing that feel like a pit or a cross? How might God be using these moments to prepare you for a greater calling? And who in your life might be inspired by your journey? Beloved believers, your story is still being written. Like Joseph, you are being prepared for greatness. Like Jesus, your trials are leading to triumph. Like Samuel, your small acts of faith can create ripples of transformation that touch countless lives. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, declare this truth over your life. My trials are not my defeat, they are my preparation. Like Joseph, I will rise from the pit. Like Jesus, my light will conquer darkness. Like Samuel, my small acts of faith will create ripples of transformation. As you move forward, let the stories of Joseph, Jesus, and modern-day heroes like Samuel inspire you to embrace your journey with faith, courage, and hope. Shine your light boldly, for the world is waiting to see the impact of your story. And remember, the best is yet to come. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, the stories of Joseph, Jesus, and Samuel teach us a profound truth. The trials we face are not meant to defeat us, but to prepare us for a greater purpose. Like gold refined in fire, our struggles reveal the strength, faith, and light within us, transforming us into vessels of hope and inspiration for others. Joseph's journey from the pit to the palace reminds us that betrayal and hardship are not the end. They are stepping stones to our destiny. Jesus' resurrection assures us that no darkness can overcome the light of God's love. Samuel's small acts of faith show us that even the humblest beginnings can create ripples of transformation that touch countless lives. Your story is still unfolding. You are chosen, beloved believers, to shine your light in a world that desperately needs it. Every trial, every act of faith, and every moment of perseverance is part of a legacy that will echo into eternity. What is God writing in your life today? How can you use your light to inspire and uplift those around you? Reflect on these questions and know that your journey matters. If this message has touched your heart, we invite you to join us at The Anointed for more stories of faith, hope, and transformation. Subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone who needs encouragement, and leave a comment about how these stories resonate with your journey. Let's continue to grow together as a community of God's chosen ones. Shine brightly, beloved believers. Your light is changing the world, and the best is yet to come.